All right, if you're a side sleeper, you're still out of luck. So, what happens is when you're a side sleeper, you're more than likely not only in a hip flex position, which means that your hips are bent at about 90 degrees, maybe a little bit less, and you're also likely in an internally rotated position, which means that your shoulder is being tightened down here all night because you likely have it over your pillow. You've got the other arm here coming across, so you're building up some tightness here along the pecs. Same thing there. Now here, what you're going to see is that when you're laying on your side, you're going to be putting a lot of compression here along the shoulder joint. So a lot of times people that are side sleepers have some tenderness here, especially leading up into the neck. Sometimes from the neck, it'll lead into more of like a migraine here at the front of the skull. So a lot of those things happen because of the way that you're naturally putting your body as you're sleeping. And first things first, look at the position that you're in. If I put this little chair underneath, you're basically sitting in a chair all night, which for some people, that's their job. Sometimes they sit at a desk and they're already sitting a lot throughout the day, or they get home and they're just sitting on the couch, or they drive a lot, they're truck drivers, things like that. You're naturally already sitting a lot throughout the day. So if you have this sitting position while you're sleeping, these hips are going to be very, 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 very tight. And what that happens is that leads into what we call an anterior pelvic tilt, which means that these hips are shifted forward. So that lumbar spine here starts being compressed, and it starts leading to some pinching along those nerves, along those muscles. You start getting some low back pain. And obviously, when one thing is going wrong, another part of the body is going to be affected and compensating. And a lot of the times, that's the upper back that starts compensating, and you start feeling a little bit more strain here as well, like along the C7 joint, in between the shoulder blades and these muscles here. You start getting some trigger points as well as in the low back area. So what's one thing that can help? I know I'm giving you guys so much negative information, but when you're a side sleeper as well and you have a pillow like this, a normal pillow, it's not providing you enough support because sure, your head is a little bit supported here, but your neck is relatively floating like you see here in this example. So that puts even more strain on your neck, which is why it's important to have pillows like these, ergonomic pillows, where your neck has a little ramp here where you're going to be resting that skull, resting that neck, and then the skull goes into this little divot here. You can see it's a divot because your neck and your head should both be supported regardless of what position they're in. Now for side sleepers specifically, there's these little flaps here. So instead of you having both of your arms like this propped up even higher on a normal pillow, you can have them in a little bit more of an externally rotated position, which just means that your arm is going to be just a little bit lower. And instead of you compressing here all night and getting tighter shoulders and getting more rounded shoulders, giving you more of that humpback look, then now your arms will be in a more natural position. You're more in a stretch position rather than a tightening down position. What is definitely important for a lot of you side sleepers is if you do sleep in more of this fetal position where you're propped up here, you want to make sure that you have another pillow to actually put here in between your legs. And that will look something like this, because otherwise your hips are going to be misaligned. So the top hip, if there's no pillow here, you can see how it starts shifting down, and that in itself puts a lot of pressure here at the muscles, and it even starts putting a little bit of pressure here along the knee and the tibia. So you can put this here, get it in a more neutral position, and you'll even be a little bit more comfortable that way. So these pillows have helped a lot, especially for you side sleepers, especially you back sleepers. This will be amazing. And you stomach sleepers, yeah, don't even get me started. But get these in the TikTok shop, y'all. They're usually around $60 for the next hour. They'll be about $35. So get them while they last.